Hi, I'm Gary Flater with GaryFlater.com, and today we're going to talk about 7 year-end tax strategies that we should all consider before year-end. I tell you, 2012 excuse me, is fast approaching, and Washington, are we going to go off that fiscal cliff or what's going to happen? So let's take them one by one. Number one, fully fund your employer-based retirement plan, and that's like your 401k plan. The maximum you can put into a 401k plan this year is in 2012 is $17,000. But if you're over the age of 50, you get an extra $5,500 for a maximum of $22,500. And I tell you, I think that's about the only advantage of turning 50 I've been able to find on that. Also, if you're self-employed, you can set up a solo 401k up until December 31st of this year. Number two, review your investment portfolio and check into harvesting some gains. That strategy kind of goes against all traditional year-end advice where we bring losses into this year and postpone gains until next year. But with the current tax law set to expire, long-term capital gains are 15% this year. They're going to go up to 23.8% next year. Dividends are going to increase from 15% to a maximum of 43.4%. So maybe this is the year that we want to bring in those gains in this year to pay a lower long-term capital gains tax on that and keep those losses for next year when tax rates will probably be higher. Number three, take required minimum distributions. If you are 70 and a half or older, you are required to take out money from your IRA. And that's all based on an actuarial table that the IRS has, and that's in IRS publication 590. So you can find your age and figure out how much you need to take out year end. And that's going to be based on your 2011 year end account balance of that IRA. And this is something we shouldn't mess with because the penalty for not taking out an RMD is onerous. It's 50% of the amount you were required to take out. So that's a huge penalty. Don't let that one slip up. Number four, convert a traditional IRA to a Roth IRA. So if you're sitting on the fence taking into consideration, do I do this or do I don't? Maybe this year is the year you convert that traditional IRA to the Roth. Reason said is tax rates are probably going to go higher. So if you're going to do it, let's do it in 2012. Pay tax at a lower rate than 2013. It just makes common sense to do that. And also keep in mind that you have up until October 15th of 2013 whether you want to rescind that conversion or not. Number five, check your tax withholdings. Sit down and estimate what your 2012 tax liability is going to be, then pull your paycheck stub and see if you've had enough withheld for this year. And if not, you may want to increase those withholdings so you have enough withheld, so at least you have less amount to pay next year, April 15th, when you file your taxes, and it will also avoid an underpayment penalty. So check those tax withholdings. Number six, check the deadline for your flex spending account or an FSA account on that. A lot of employers are still using a December 31st year-end date for those unspent funds, and it's kind of like if you don't use them, you lose them. But several employers have adopted a 2.5 month grace period, so that puts you out to March 15th of 2013. But if you don't use it, meaning you don't spend it, you lose it. So we don't want to have that money go by the wayside either. And then finally, number seven, and this is a tricky one. These are charitable contributions. And this is a tough one to figure out. I mean, if tax laws and tax rates are going to change and tax rates are going to go up next year, maybe next year is the year we take those charitable contributions because we'll get more bang for our buck, if you will. But let me tell you, we know what the tax law is this year. We know the deductibility of those charitable contributions this year. Next year is uncertain. They might put a cap on the amount that you can deduct. Only time's going to tell that. So that one is kind of an iffy situation. So like anything, sit down with your financial advisor, your CPA, and go over your portfolio, go over your individual tax situation and see if any of these year-end strategies make sense. And if they do, you probably have, well, I know you have basically 9 days to take advantage of it. So with that, I'm going to close with a quote like I always do. And this one's from Margaret Thatcher. And she said, "No one would have remembered the Good Samaritan if he'd only had good intentions. He had money as well." So with that, this is Gary Flater, GaryFlater.com. Take care.